Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast Special Edition Series, the NFL Offseason Preview and Predictions 2024. This is the 30th of 32 episodes. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We do free agents to be, team needs, franchise tag candidate, trade candidate, release candidate, extension candidate, best draft fit, best free agent fit, and a bold prediction for every team. And now it's the Bucs' turn. Free agents to be Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, Aaron Stinney, Chase Edmonds, Levante David, Devin White, Ryan Neal, Antoine Winfield Jr., Chase McLaughlin, and then their long snapper Zach Triner, and then their special teamer Devin Tompkins. Team needs quarterback, wide receiver, inside linebacker, safety, kicker, franchise tag candidate, Baker Mayfield. This one's pretty easy. They have a lot of decisions, and quarterback is the most important position, and who knows, maybe they pay him, maybe they don't pay him, and the Giants and Seattle both neither franchise tagged their quarterback, and now both of those guys got extended and are both overpaid. So maybe Baker Mayfield's on his way to being that, but he's certainly a franchise tag candidate. I mean, they have others, Mike Evans, Levante David, who have both been franchise cornerstones for the past decade. So I wanted to give those two guys recognition. And Antoine Winfield Jr. is a really good player. That's a free agent on the Bucs too. So they have some big decisions to make within the next couple of weeks here. Trade candidate. I'm going to go with former first-round pick Joe Tryon Shoyinka. Tryon Shoyinka got unseated by Yaya Diaby in the starting lineup. That tells you all you need to know. And Tryon Shoyinka lost a lot of playing time because of it, and he was a a draft pick in the Tom Brady era. He wasn't bad this year, though. 5 sacks, 10 assists, his forced fumble. So I think he could have some value in a team that needs help at that position. I could see making a play for him, maybe for like a 3rd or a 4th round pick. I mean, a 3rd would be expensive, so maybe more like a 4th. He could go for. Other trade candidates on this roster, maybe if they decide to blow it up and rebuild, Shaq Barrett, Vita Vea, maybe Jamel Dean, who's been on the team for a while, maybe Cade Otton, the tight end. They have some depth at tight end. One of the tight ends I could see being traded. Trey Palmer at wide receiver. Maybe if they somehow bring back Mike Evans or whatnot. I mean, I could see Trey Palmer having some value. Release candidate. This makes me sad because I like this player a lot. Shaq Barrett. He's highly paid and he's getting older. Yes, he's still Shaq Barrett. And he's an instant impact guy. He was very good this past season. I mean, he's had some injuries in the past. So I could see a world where Barrett is cut. And this one also pains me to say. I think another cut candidate on the team is Chris Godwin. If they do blow it up and rebuild. I mean, he could be a trade candidate too. Gage Russell, I think, is a cut candidate. I think maybe somebody like Carlton Davis could be a cap casualty for them as well. So like I said earlier, big decisions for the Bucs. And we got to see what goes on there. Extension candidate, Tristan Wirfs. I like Tristan Wirfs. He's a good player. They picked up his option for the 5th year, but he hasn't gotten paid yet, so it makes sense for them to pay him. So, to me, he's the easy extension candidate on this team. Some other potential extension candidates. Would they extend Robert Hainsey, their center? Who, no, they wouldn't. Maybe they would. He wasn't bad in 22. And then he was okay as a rookie. He was just not very good this year. Would KJ Britt be a fun extension candidate? Yeah, maybe. But he was hurt, so I guess not. But there's some other guys, maybe. But to me, the one that stands out the most is Tristan Wirfs. And obviously Baker. But he's more of a franchise tag candidate. Best draft fit. Brian Thomas Jr. Let's say Mike Evans leaves. They need to find the replacement for him. Brian Thomas at LSU. I think the Bucs fans would like him. It's in that range of where he's being mocked 26, and that's the pick the Bucs have. So that potential fit makes a lot of sense. Adonai Mitchell makes sense. Trey Franklin. Trey Fatano makes sense. Jackson Powers Johnson makes sense. I think another guy that absolutely makes a lot of sense for the Buccaneers, I don't know if he's first round worthy, but they can get him in the second round. They trade up as Tyler Nubin, the safety. Same with Jeremiah Trotter out of Clemson. I think those two guys stand out as fits for the Bucs. Would Jatavion Sanders weirdly make some sense as like a second string tight end? And then they could let the other tight ends, one of them get traded or something. Maybe. And Garen Cooper out of Texas A&M also makes sense for the Bucs. Free agent fit, Jordan Brooks. Young linebacker was with the Seahawks. I don't think they're going to franchise tag him. There's a guy that could be looking for a change of scenery, and the Bucs are a team that should be looking at change of scenery guys like Brooks. And plus, they might lose David, they might lose Devin White, so Jordan Brooks there makes sense. And my bold prediction, I don't know, not yet. Other free agent fits for the Bucs. I'm sorry, I forgot about this. Maybe if they re-sign Baker and they, maybe they somehow bring back Mike Evans. I think Patrick Queen would be a fit. Calvin Ridley would be an interesting fit to replace Mike Evans. I think Xavier McKinney makes a lot of sense for the Buccaneers. I think Geno Stone makes some sense. Frankie Louvu makes some sense. Kevin Zeitler. If they want to go bold and crazy, maybe. Robert Hunt. I didn't even put guard down as a need for the Bucs, although I should have. And I will, actually. And I didn't even read off their needs. It was I had quarterback down with an asterisk because of Baker. We don't know what he's really going to do. Wide receiver, guard, inside linebacker, safety, and kicker. Because their kicker's going to be a free agent too. But yeah, Ridley to me stands out as like a wow fit. Kevin Dotson, I don't think they would go there. And a big one that they might be able to pull off is Cameron Curl from the Commanders. That's one they could pull off. But my bold prediction for this team is that they will eventually pay Baker Mayfield 3 for $120. 1 year less than Daniel Jones, but the same number of million a year. He was really good, Baker Mayfield. He was every bit as good as Daniel Jones was last year, if not maybe a little better. But that's because he had Mike Evans. The Giants did not. So maybe what Daniel Jones did in 22 is more impressive than what Baker did this year. But then again, Baker, obviously, worst coach. Bulls, as we know, is not as good as a coach's day ball. So, I think they pay Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield's good. I genuinely believe he's good. And I think he's more earning of that money than Daniel Jones and Geno Smith. And he had that potential with the Browns, but the Browns had a bunch of knuckleheads, and he played for bad coaches other than Stefanski, and then that led to his demise in Cleveland. So, yeah, I think they'll take care of Baker Mayfield. It just makes a lot of sense. All right, odds and such. They're going to be one of the longer shots for the Super Bowl, I'll tell you that. What's Baker Mayfield for MVP? 60-1. That's not bad. He was pretty good, and I think that's the number Daniel Jones was going into 22. Or he might have been 50-1, but he was in that realm. So that makes sense. To win the NFC, they're 30-1. One team in the division's ahead of them in the NFC odds, and that's the Falcons at 20. Super Bowl, they're probably 60. 70-1. They're the lone team at 70-1. Their division, they're probably, the Falcons will probably be favored. I did say on a previous show that the Saints would be ahead of them because of the Bucs' impending free agent losses. So the Bucs to win that division again, depending on what they do. Yeah, this is the hardest number to call. I think they're going to be over 3-1 to win that division because of all their free agent losses, even if they bring back Baker. So I'm going to say they're 3-1. The Saints are going to be like plus 250. The Falcons will probably be like plus 160 or something like that, like I brought up earlier. And Carolina will be a long shot. Awards. Oh, no, win total. They're probably going to be 7.5, just like the other teams in their division. The Saints might be 8.5. I talked about that already, I think. I brought that up on New Orleans. And in Atlanta, I think I said 7.5, maybe 8, depending on 8.5, depending on who the quarterback is. But yeah, I think it's going to be 7.5. But if they lose Baker, that's going to be one of the lowest win totals in the league. That's going to be like 5. Like literally 5. And that's the number I think the Texans had before the season this past year. So that's interesting. So with Baker, I think it's 7.5. Without Baker, I think it's 5. Because I think it's that drastic of a drop-off from a depth standpoint. And plus all the free agent losses. Offensive player of the year. I wonder what Rachaad White would be for that. I like Rachaad White. He had a breakout year this past year. He probably will have ridiculous, like, 85-1 odds or something like that. Maybe 80. Defensive player of the year, if Shaq Barrett's still on the Bucs, he'll probably be a longer shot, like 50 65-1, 60-1, something like that. If Brian Thomas is on the Bucs and say they lose Evans, him for offensive rookie of the year, I think could be like 20-1. That would be a good number in my opinion. And then defensive rookie of the year, say they draft the safety from Minnesota, Tyler Nubin. He'd probably be like 50-1 or something like that. Bulls for coach of the year is going to be a long shot. It's going to be like 60-1 or something like that, because expectations, yet again, are going to be low for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And do they have anybody that could be a comeback player of the year candidate? Baker should have been in that conversation more for comeback player of the year. I probably would have had him second on the ballot ahead of the guy that won, but that's the most mad I've ever been over an award. DeMar died on the field. We know that. He should have won the award. And he did it somehow. But Baker should have been up there for comeback player of the year. And he was. I'm trying to think of who could be a candidate for this award in 24 on this team. I have no clue. But yeah, I don't see anybody coming back from injury on this team to be like, oh, that guy can play for comeback player of the year. Like I saw some other teams here. And is this a Bill Belichick destination? Maybe. I would say maybe based on what happens to them in free agency this year. All right, so that's it for the Bucs. This was a long one too. We have 2 more to go. Next is the Titans of Tennessee.